Okay, so today I'm going to be doing my May TBR, talking all the books I plan to read in the month of May, which just so happens to be the month of my birthday. Yay! And Mama Francy's birthday. Yay! And my dad's birthday. Yay! And my auntie's birthday. Yay! A lot of people in my family celebrate birthdays in the month of May. My beautiful Mamacita, Mama Francy, will be celebrating her birthday on the 6th of May, and I'm celebrating my birthday on the 12th of May, and then I found out that I'll be celebrating my birthday with my mum for Mother's Day as well, because Mother's Day is going to be on the 12th of May over here. So, but either way, it's going to be a good month. I always love May, and yeah, it's a time for many things for me, given that it is my birthday. It's a very special month for me. Not only that it is my birthday, but both of my parents' birthdays in that same month. And yeah, my mum and I are going to be going out to high tea between our birthdays. I think it will be on the Thursday that falls between the 6th and the 12th of May. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And yeah, we'll see how things go. But let's look ahead and see what I plan to read in the month of May. So I needed to get a couple of books to make an official 12. If you haven't been keeping up with my TBRs lately, basically what happened was last month in March, I read too many books, and so I kind of stole books from the next month and added them to my March TBR, and so therefore I'm going to kind of keep doing that as I move forward. In April this month, I stole some books from May, and in May next month, I'm going to steal some books from June, and then we'll just keep moving forward. I'm sure I'll find a way to make up for it. The reason why I'm saying I stole books from them is, in case you don't know, I have already mapped out at least the first 10 months of this year. I did it last year, the end of last year, if not the first 11. So therefore, I have an entire, basically, year of TBR scheduled out. So anyway, let's jump right on in, shall we? So the very first book that I'm going to be reading is a book that I cannot wait to get back in this world, and it's a novella, but I love this world so much, of course I'm reading the novella. It is this book, The Big ASS Party, by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. This is book number 5.5 in the Zodiac Academy series, which is what I call an adult fantasy. My goodness, do I love this series so much, and I cannot wait to get into this book. I'm not going to talk too much about it, because let's talk about the very next book that I plan to read, which is this book, Fated Throne, by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti, which is book number 6 in the Zodiac Academy series. Again, it is an adult fantasy. Okay, very quickly, oh goodness, spicy scene warning for everyone. There are very, 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 very spicy scenes in every single book I've read so far. So know that moving forward. If spicy scenes don't bother you outside of the spicy scenes, I am likening this series to the adult version of Harry Potter, and I'm having a blast. It is a magic series set at a magic school where you have students that are learning about their magic. It is my favorite trope of all time, but do be warned for the spicy scenes. Okay, so the reason it's kind of worked out this way is because I always read my longest book of each month first and end the month with the shortest, and so yeah, kind of go in that way. Order them from longest to shortest, if that makes sense. However, because book 5.5 comes before book 6, I need to kind of break that for May and read 5.5, then read my longest book of the month, which is book 6. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to both of them. I love this series so much. If I wasn't a stickler for wanting to broaden my horizons with my genres, I would have just binge read this entire series and nothing else before moving on to something else. That's how much I love this series. Again, a warning for spicy scenes, but if you can handle spicy scenes, and if you loved Harry Potter and the idea of an adult Harry Potter world intrigues you, pick up the first book in Zodiac Academy. You will not regret it. It is so good. Alright, let's move on before I become too passionate. The third book that I plan to read in the month of May is going to be my first sci-fi book that I will have read in over probably a year and a half. which is fantastic. I'm so happy to finally be reading a sci-fi book. It is the first book in my only sci-fi series that is on my SAS list for 2024, and that is this book, Renegades by Marissa Meyer, book 1 in the Renegades series. Now, according to Goodreads, this is a YA sci-fi. It does say fantasy at the beginning, but I have been assured this is a sci-fi book. So I am going to call it what I've been told, which is a YA sci-fi. Also has fantasy and also dystopian mentioned there. Wow. Will be very interesting. I'm not reading the premises of any of these books. With books in a series that are past book 1, it will be a spoiler, and for books that are book 1 in a series or standalone, it'd be a spoiler for me. So I don't read premises, in case you didn't know, but you can certainly look these up in Goodreads. This edition that I'm reading of Renegades was actually published in November 7, 2017. So 3 years before I even started my own booktube channel. But I am certainly looking forward to not only reading this, because I've heard a lot of good things, but I'm certainly looking forward to finally reading another sci-fi. It has been a very long time. The next book that I plan to read is this book, King's Cage, which is book number 3 in the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. It is marketed as a YA dystopian. Okay, so I am currently, at the time of recording, halfway through book 2, Glass Sword, and there is a trope that's come up in that book that I'm not liking. I am promising that I will get through book 2 and I will start book 3, but at this stage, unless things improve, which they may, take a look at my week 4 reading vlog for April and see if they improve, then that's fine. But if things don't improve, I will start book 3, but I do not promise to complete it. I may end up DNFing book 3 and the series, but we'll see how we go. The series is good. It's a great YA dystopian series with a subgenre of fantasy, but it's just bringing up a trope that I don't like, which is the traveling/questing trope, which I don't think is necessary in dystopians. So if that doesn't continue, and if we end up back where we started by the end of the second book, if we end up back by the end of the second book to where we started in book 1, the area that we started in book 1, then yes, I'm very good to go on to book number 3. But if we don't, I will start book 3. And if it is taking forever and a day to get back to where we need to be, then I'm going to DNF the series, because it just doesn't work for me. It's not to say it's a bad thing. I'm sure there are a lot of people who love this. This is a very popular series, but it just doesn't work for me. But anyway, I will certainly pick it up and give it a go regardless. The next book that I plan to read is a book that's going to help me to close out a series, and I'm so sad that I'm closing out the series because I do love it so much. It is this book, How to Defy a Vampire, which is book number 5 in the VRC Vampire-Related Crimes series by Alice Winters. My goodness, how much time do you have for me to tell you how much I have loved this series? I do believe I read book number 1 last year in 2023, and I loved it so much that I added it directly to my SAS list for 2024. It is fantastic. Imagine, if you will, a male cozy mystery series where you are following a detective that the majority of the time is a different vampire, part of the vampire-related crimes unit. There are some spicy scenes compared to Zodiac Academy. I would give this a 5 out of 10, where Zodiac Academy is like a 15 out of 10. But anyway, like, it's crazy spicy scenes in Zodiac. But in this one, it's like spicy scenes, but they're just normal spicy scenes, if that makes sense. If any of that intrigues you, then I highly recommend picking up this series. I've already determined that I'm going to be adding another Alice Winters series to my SAS list in 2024. I won't reveal what it is, sorry, to 2025. I will not reveal what it is just yet, because we're far off from 2025, but I already know which one it will be and have locked it in, and that's all because of how much I love this series and so far love Alice Winters as an author. It's going to be sad closing out this series, but I'm definitely looking forward to starting book number 5, How to Defy a Vampire. The next book that I plan to read is this book, Portside Peril by Hope Callahan. This is book number 2 in the Cruise Ship Mystery series, and it's an adult cozy mystery. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to say about this is that I DNF'd the Coffee House Mystery series after book number 9. I think it was 9 or 10, one of the two. and so needed a replacement cozy mystery series for my SAS list, and decided to put the cruise ship mystery series on there because, you know, it's very different. It was set on a cruise. I thought it would be fun. I read book number 1, Starboard Secrets, and I absolutely freaking loved book number 1. I had high expectations going into book number 1, and Hope Callahan delivered even more than I thought would be possible, and I cannot wait to continue on with this fantastic series. I love checking out new, different things that I haven't seen in cozies before, and I haven't read a cozy on a ship, a cruise ship specifically, because I'm not a nautical reader generally speaking, but for a cruise, we're not predominantly focusing on the water, we're predominantly focusing on what's going on in the cruise. So that I like. I'm not a nautical fan, but anyway, but that I do like, and I really am looking forward to reading book number 2. One thing I need to correct is in my April TBR, I pronounced the author's surname incorrectly. Please forgive me. I will always correct pronunciations of names if I say them wrong. That is because I hadn't read the book. I now have read book 1, and I know that I said it wrong. So in the April TBR video, I pronounced the author's name as Hope Callahan because I was pronouncing every single letter in the surname. The G is actually silent in her surname. So it's Hope Callahan. And so Hope Callahan, just thank you. I really love the first book and can't wait to start the second one. If you want to buddy read the cruise ship mystery series with me, please let me know, because we could have so many discussions about this series. Alright, let's move on to the next one. The next book that I'm going to be reading, book number 7, that I plan to read in the month of May 2024, is this book, House Beneath the Bridge by Ian Rob Wright. I am saying this passionately for a reason. I am finally going to be consuming an Ian Rob Wright book in 2024. I love Ian Rob Wright. If you have not heard of Ian Rob Wright, but you love horror, and you've read Stephen King, and you like Stephen King, try an Ian Rob Wright book today and tell me what you think. To me, I found some of Stephen King's stuff good, some of it I thought was a bit meh. Most of Ian Rob Wright's works I find to be absolutely fantastic, but know what you are going into. This book, House Beneath the Bridge, as with every other book Ian Rob Wright has written, is an adult horror. Because of this, there are no restrictions. There are no limits. The purpose of a horror, in my opinion, is to gross you out, creep you out, freak you out, force you to leave the light on, or convince you you're going to have a nightmare. And if it's going to encompass all of those, it's fantastic. But if it at least covers one of them, it's at least a horror. But if it covers all of them, it's an amazing horror. And Ian Rob Wright, the best horror author I have ever read, and I have a goal to try and get through all of his works. I only have 2 authors of 2 different genres that have their own shelf at the moment. Brandon Sanderson for fantasy with his Cosmere works, and Amanda Flower with her cozy mystery works. But give it time, Ian Rob Wright will have his own shelf for his horror works. That's how much I love him as an author. This is a standalone book. Again, I'm not going to read the premise, but I'm looking forward to reading it. And of course, I am keeping an eye on the Ravaged World trilogy on Audible. Once the first 2 books are available, I believe book 1 is already ready, but once book 2 is ready, I will of course add the entire Ravaged World trilogy onto my onto that month's TBR so that I can get through it. Alright, let's go on to the next one. The next book that I plan to read is this book, Insects, Ivy and Investigations by Tonya Kappas. This is book number 17 in the Campers and Criminals series. It is an adult cozy mystery series, and I realize that I, after reading this book, will be very close to being halfway through the series, which is incredible. Now, we are doing a buddy read of this series over on my Discord. Link to my Discord, as always, is in the description if you'd like to come along and join us. It has been very fun reading this, and very fun doing the buddy read portion as well. We've had some great chats about this series also. So yeah, we read 3 Campers and Criminals books in the buddy read per month, and the reason for this is because all of these books are short. To give an example, this book, Insects, Ivy and Investigations, is 192 pages long. They're usually less than 200 pages long. If it's more, it's not by much, like 208, 210 or whatever. So we figure, let's read 3, because then it's like 600 pages, which is just over a tome, you know. But anyway, yeah, so looking forward to getting on to this one. I've had a bit of a you know, downward, what's the word? A bit of a, you know, dry spell. What is the word that we use? Where books, you know, have a bit of a dip and they're not as good. A slog, I guess. I guess some people will say the word slog. There's been a bit of a slog, going on recently for me with Campers and Criminals. I loved book 16. But 15, 14, and potentially 13, was a bit, was okay. But I love 16, so I feel like we're going back on their upwards, incline, going very up, yay. So I gave book 16 4 stars. So looking forward to book number 17, which of course, if I'm reading book 17 as the first book I'm reading in May, then the next book, the first of these Campers and Criminals books I'm reading in May, then of course the next book will be this book, Outdoors, Oars and Oath by Tanya Kappas, which is book number 18. Once I get through this book, I will be halfway through the series, which will be amazing given that there are currently 36 books in this series. So that will be fantastic. When was the last time you read a series? Let me know in the comments below. When was the last time you read a series where after reading book 18, you said, yay, I'm halfway through? I've never done that. Can you imagine, if you're a fantasy reader, for example, exclusively fantasy, can you imagine a series having 36 books? It's incredible. But cozy series are very, very, very long. So, yeah. And they're shorter than most fantasies, so it works. But anyway, yay! So that's that one. Again, adult cozy mystery. And then, of course, the next book will be the third of the three Campers and Criminals for this month, which is this book, Wildlife, Warrants and Weapons, book number 19 in the Campers and Criminals Cozy Mystery series by Tanya Kappas, adult cozy mystery. Alright, so we have 2 books left, and let's check them out. I am very excited. I planned this last year that in May, one of the series that I was really looking forward to reading, I'm going to start reading, going from 1 book a month to 2 books a month. And so it is May, and we're now going to do it. The first of those 2 books in the same series that I will be reading as my second last book for May 2024 is this book, 5 Go Off in a Caravan by Enid Blyton. This is book number 5 in the famous 5 series by Enid Blyton. It's an adult classic. I nearly said the famous 5 cozy mystery series. I mean, in a way, it's like a middle grade cozy, but you know. Anyway, I'm just used to saying cozy mystery series, but anyway. Yeah, this is the famous 5 series. I love this series. There are 21 books in this series. I've read some of them, but certainly not the majority. I've read the minority of them. This year, I plan to get through all 21, and in May, in January, February, March, and April, I read 1 book per month. Moving forward from May onwards, I'm reading 2 books a month in this series, which is fantastic. Double the famous 5 action, which is awesome for me. I know, right? Famous 5 action, it's a middle grade, but still, I love this series. It's great. I highly recommend it. Anyway, 5 Go Off in a Caravan is one of the books that I have read before. I know this book. I know it very well. It was interesting to read as a child. Reading it the first time, it was interesting. Then reading it the second time, I skipped a certain scene because I couldn't handle a scene. And every subsequent time I would skip a certain scene. But aside from that, it was a great book, as they always are. So I'm looking forward to reading this one as an adult and seeing what I think. And so therefore, if I'm reading 2 famous 5s in May, and the first one is book 5, then the final book that I'll be reading is 5 on Kirin Island Again, book number 6 by Enid Blyton. Again, it is a middle grade classic series. I almost said middle grade cozy yet again. And again, 21 books in this series. So I have not read 5 on Kirin Island Again. I've read 5 Go Off in a Caravan. I've not read 5 on Kirin Island Again. But there you go. Those are the 12 books that I'm reading in the month of May. Excuse me, as I was saying earlier, I am interested to see how I go with King's Cage, by Victoria Aveyard, because I may DNF. If things don't improve in book 2, and certainly don't improve in book 3, I'll probably DNF. But every other book, I can say, hand on my heart, I am looking forward to each and every single one of them, and cannot wait to get back into Zodiac Academy. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about the first 2 books on my TBR. I love Zodiac Academy so much, if you can't tell. For those in the back, I love Zodiac Academy. Anyway, that is where I am going to leave it. Let me know some books that you're looking forward to reading in the month of May. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind and love one another and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, everyone.